Before we open the meeting, I'm going to ask Gene Davis, if he would, to open with prayer.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, thank you for today. We thank you for this great country that we live in. Dear Lord, we ask you now to just watch over us and guide us as we make decisions that will benefit Hardee County. Just continue to guide us and bless us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
We don't have a flag in here, but we're going to face this way, which is toward Washington.
Wow.
I think, and that's the protocol, I think, I'm not sure. So let's do that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, this meeting is called to order. We've done item 1. Item 2 is approval of agenda and the minutes from last. Boy, that thing is really on the edge. Everybody should have got the agenda and the minutes electronically, and should have had opportunity to go through them.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve the which?
Minutes.
The minutes.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, we'll go to the agenda. Any additions or subtractions? No?
Move to approve. Second.
Motion to approve the agenda is presented and seconded. Any further discussion?
I'd like to add the issue that I brought up in writing about the no trespass warning against Mr. Coolman being a violation of his civil rights. I'd like to have that discussed by the board. This is an issue to the minutes.
We've had a request to add on the agenda a discussion of the no trespass. What's the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion that we do that.
Do I hear a second?
Yeah, I'll second it. I don't know why we shouldn't.
Okay. Motion's made and seconded. We'll do a hand count vote on this, please. All in favor of discussing the no trespass against Mr. Coleman?
Would you like me to explain the background so you know what you're,
Not right now, sir.
what you're voting on?
We know what that is.
Do all of these people even know about this?
They know who you are. Yes, sir.
Do they know about the no trespass warning
I don't know about it.
against me viewing public records at the IDA office?
What's the pleasure of the board?
Is there discussion?
That's what we're doing right now.
Well, I'd like to hear the details. I'm not familiar with
You made the motion.
it. Yeah, I want to hear the details. What's so hard to understand about that? What are we voting on?
So the protocol should be, it's been motioned and seconded whether or not we're going to add it to the agenda to have a formal discussion.
Right.
That's where we are now. So the decision that we need to make is whether or not we want to have the discussion. It's been motioned and
Correct.
seconded.
It's not a decision to have the discussion. You always have a discussion.
It's a decision to add it to the agenda
You
to be
always have a
discussed.
discussion after
We're
the
not
fact.
going to have comment from the floor, so
Yeah, but don't skip the process.
We have a motion on the floor that's made and seconded to add the discussion of the no trespass to the agenda for discussion at the appropriate time on the agenda. Does that make sense? Hand vote. All in favor of adding this motion to the agenda for the discussion of the no trespass against Mr. Coleman. All in favor of that, raise their right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion defeated. Had no addition to the agenda. We'll move now. So have we voted on the agenda?
yes.
We voted on the, okay, sorry. We move to item 3, election of officers. I don't know where we go with that.
Rather go with Mr. Evans.
Where is he?
Ken?
Ken?
It has Lambert's name on it.
I'm
Yes, it
yielding.
does.
Well, I can do it. Would you like me to do it?
Okay.
I'll be glad to do it.
Bill? You did that.
I don't know why this is my issue, seriously, but it's all right. I mean, historically, what you guys have done is we just open the floor up to nominations for chair and vice chair, I think, are the only two positions that you vote on. So at this time, we open the floor for nominations for chair.
I'd like to nominate Vanessa.
Second. We have a nomination and a second. Any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll consider the nominations closed. All in favor of Vanessa as chair, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, same process for vice chair. Open the floor for nominations for vice chair.
Mike Prescott.
Second.
We have a nomination and a second. Are you willing to accept that?
No.
Orson?
You can't nominate anybody.
I'm not nominating anybody, I just called out a name.
Well, why don't you be quiet till we get our process done? Really?
Well, I can volunteer, right?
Sure.
Okay, I volunteer.
Any other nominations for vice chair?
I'd like to nominate Doug.
I'll second that.
A nomination of Doug Jensen and a second. Doug, are you willing to? My preference would be not. Is that a, is that a hard no, or what is that?
How about we vote against me and Russ?
Okay, anybody want to nominate?
So were you making that in the form of a motion?
Yes. Nominate Russ.
Second.
Okay, so we have a nomination and second for Russ. So we have two. All in favor of Doug?
Wait, what are we gonna do with a volunteer?
Right.
He needs a second.
Yeah.
Hey,
What are you gonna
if
do with the
you treat
volunteer?
that, if you treat the volunteer the way I was treated, if there's a second, then we'll put it on the table.
Yeah, I think if Horst is volunteered, we would
I'm treating it as a
we would enter
nomination.
that, someone needs to motion for him to be, and then second it, and then enter into the fray. I don't think we can just, I don't know what the rules are in this instance, but don't we have to have a motion and a second to do that? I don't know.
I would agree. I'm with you on that one.
I think that I was treating Horst volunteer as his own motion, basically to nominate himself and looking for a second, but
Okay, I nominate
I've never seen one
myself.
nominate themselves, I've never seen one volunteer. But,
So he just said he nominated himself.
I'll second.
okay, and a second by John O'Neill, so we have three.
I reckon we have a ballot vote.
That may make it easier.
Yeah. We got any paper?
I gotta have some balance.
Just rip some paper up.
Yeah, just tear off a sheet of,
Put all three names and rank them 1 to 3.
or just
That's
vote.
fine.
Just
Or just
vote one.
write down a name.
Just
Yeah,
write
just vote
one
a
and
name.
sign and date it.
Okay.
You need to sign and date
I'll
it.
just get
And
everybody.
staff will keep those.
Thank you, ma'am.
The provision of voting is you write one of the three names.
Yeah. Provision is we buy one of the three names, correct?
Hopefully get back the same person.
Just write
We
one
write
of the
a
three.
name and sign it and date it.
Right, that's fine.
What's the date? 15?
So many names, nobody can read my handwriting.
What do we do?
15.
What do we do?
Always a debate.
Vote for whoever you want.
Vote for yourself. Vote for somebody else.
Vote for yourself.
Don't vote. Come on, Russ, you can figure that out, surely.
Just write your name down twice, you'll be good.
It is, must be another, somewhere. Is that one back out?
Like that one?
Different air conditioning.
Lambda slide.
It's not over yet.
Brand new for sale sign right at the corner of the sky.
Is that it? Vanessa, Madam Chair, what I would suggest is since this was the election of vice chair, let Sarah tally them up and you proceed with the meeting as chair. Then we'll announce it when she gets done tallying.
What is it? Pig to slaughter? Lamb to slaughter? What is it?
I'm sorry.
I got pig on the front because it's pig day.
The citrus county.
No, that's fine. So before we move into approving the meeting dates and times, Bill had something he would like to address.
I'm just going to talk, well, you know, there comes defining moments in some people's lives and they make decisions to do things, and I want to say this while Gen C is still here. The sacrifices that he has made, the brutalities that he has gone through in the past year needlessly, you've done a really good job with it, Jim. And on behalf of all of the citizens of Hardee County and future generations, and on behalf of the industrial development of Hardee County, I want to thank you for your service being chair to this board.
Say this as I vacate, it was a pleasure serving as chairman, generally. Basically representing the bulk of the people of Hardee County.
Can I get a picture of the two? Perfect, thank you.
I also have a plaque for Rick Justice, but he's not in attendance today, so we'll send it to him UPS.
I need to vacate this chair. Where is the calendar?
Okay, so we will move on into approval of the meeting dates and the new meeting time. Bill, did you want to present that?
She has a tally.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay. Forrest received 1 vote, Doug received 3, and Russ received 8.
Russ it is.
Let's switch chairs.
Okay, we'll move on into the new meeting dates and meeting times.
We normally set our calendar in December. I have no idea why that has occurred over the years. I would like us to begin making our calendar correspond with election of officers and reorganization date, similar to most other agencies. And so what I am suggesting today is give us direction on meeting dates and times for the upcoming year. We will run those advertisements, it will trend us down at least 1 month, and then next year we will do it at this meeting. Today I'm seeking permission from the IDA to continue to hold meetings on the second Tuesday of each month, but I would like you to consider moving the beginning time from 9 o'clock to 8:30, and the usual place will continue to be advertised at the Board of County Commission chambers. So if you would like to consider, the only real change is simply starting at 8:30 rather than 9. Otherwise, we'll continue to advertise the same. Sarah, is that correct? Okay.
Question? What's the reason for 8:30 versus 9? Because it's very difficult for me to come from all the way from the west end of the county.
Well, mainly because we have been running into the lunch hour, and so that it doesn't disrupt, especially those folks that have businesses to attend to. We're just trying to capitalize on that first part of the day. That's the only reason. Certainly not to inconvenience you, but if we can start at 8:30, we generally should be out by noon. Nothing more.
I'll make the motion.
So we have a motion to approve the new meeting dates and times. Do we have a second?
Second.
And we will open for this issue for public comment. Mr. Coleman, as a reminder, public comment will be limited to 3 minutes. Now.
Senate Bill 50 just became effective October the 1st. It involves the public's right to be heard at meetings. I would suggest that this 3-minute rule might need to be reviewed in light of that Senate bill. That's not what I want to talk about, but just to bring that out. These IDA meetings are being held during the work week early, when most of the county, most of the public cannot attend. For the most part, the people who pay the taxes in the county to support the county are the ones who can't come to the meeting. They are the ones who are being disenfranchised because they're having it during the week, during normal hours that normal people go to work. What it does allow is for certain people in the county, primarily the folks who have businesses downtown who are going to be there anyway, to come over and run these meetings and to sit on the board and to make the decisions that affect all the other taxpayers and all the people in the county who can't attend. And their only link to your meetings and what you do here are the minutes. The minutes of August the 13th were corrupted, and they were manipulated, and they were inaccurate, and they were pointed out by Mr. Horstier. They were never corrected. Those minutes stand corrupted. The taxpayers who can't come to the meeting, like right now, I'm here because I retired and I don't have to go to work anymore. Otherwise, I would be at work. That's why you haven't seen me for a couple of years, for the most part. It's the same way with everyone else. They can't come to these meetings. They look at your minutes are not accurate. The video that you're taking is not dependable. It is not put on the website, uploaded like you did in March the 12th of 13. Excellent job by a videographer, a professional. Not on your website. The public is being excluded from participating in your process. I would recommend having your meetings in the evening, like the county commissioners do, maybe like 6 o'clock. I'd recommend maybe having, every other month, having 2 meetings instead of 1. In my opinion, there is no way that you can adequately take care of the business of managing all these projects and considering future opportunities in just 15 minutes per meeting, especially when you have people coming in giving updates that last an hour and a half. So my personal preference would be to have the meeting maybe more often occasionally and have them in the evening hours and allow the people to participate more. Just see that So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman. Any other comments? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
No.
Let the record show that Horst voted no. And we will move into the Hardee Lakes update. I believe Danny Weeks is here from the county. Yes, Danny, thank you.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen, Madam Chairman. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the Hardee Lakes, where we're at. Rain's affected us quite a bit over the summer, but we are moving on. We do have campsites available, but we do not have water to them yet. We're waiting on our permit, our operating permit. Our potable well, our well for our drinking water is done. We have a fence to put around, which will be finished up tomorrow. Once that's done, we will submit for our operating permit to DEP. When we have that, then we have potable water at the sites. All the water at the sites, we just, technically you can't drink it because it's not considered potable water yet. But we do have electric at the sites. We will get those inspected and hooked up Monday. We're working to get them turned on Monday to have electric at the sites. We've got some areas leveled down so the RVs can get in there. The camping area is pretty much ready. They're breaking ground today for the foundation for the bathroom. I brought y'all the layouts and elevations of 2 buildings that we're building, and these both are starting now. The bathroom, as you can see, it's a pretty good bathroom, so it's going to accommodate quite a few people. But their Benny Hash is breaking ground today, starting the foundation. So hopefully by the first year we'll have the bathroom completed, and the office building will be started next. As soon as he gets done with the slab, he's going to move up and start on the other one. We've got a lot of the drain field for our lift station, or our dump station, and everything. We've got all the sand in and ready to start putting in the septic tanks and everything. So that's moving right along. We'll have all that completed before the first of the year. I'm fixing to hire somebody else as soon as county manager approves me to advertise. I will advertise and have to put one more person on out there to start transitioning towards the 7 days a week open. Right now we're still Friday through Monday, but we'll start transitioning for 7 days a week. And once we get completely open, then we will have 5 staff members out there. A lot of people, we have started our the Facebook page and some stuff. The commissioners wanted us to get a Facebook page out there, so we do have a Facebook page online now. So y'all look it up. But I don't know if y'all have any other questions. We've got roughly about $120,000 left to build the bathrooms. That's not counting labor. Labor's already been taken out of that. So.
Still planning on building the radio arena and the outside music jamboree on the south side of the lake.
You come up with some more money, not a problem.
What are we looking at to get this totally done?
This
Everything.
As in
the buildings you're fixing to build and get open.
I'm shooting for the first year for the bathrooms and office to be completed. And then once that's done, then we'll have a grand opening. We'll invite Mosaic, we'll invite y'all out there, and we'll have a grand opening ceremony.
Any other questions from board members?
I was going to say, Don, are you referring to building more buildings and?
No, I'm referring to getting the bathrooms and the store and the spots where people can go out there and hook up. And, no, not the
all the funding for those things are in place and available. Anything future, of course, the sky's the limit on whatever we want to do out there. It's just that's what Danny's talking about. Is all we need is more money to do whatever whatever we choose to.
No, I just wondering when we're gonna be able to have people out there 7 days a week and get the store and the bathrooms done and the showers and ready.
If all
for-
goes well, I'm shooting for the first year, sometime close to around the first year, to getting it open 7 days a week. That's been my goal. Since it's rained so much this summer, I mean, we just flat couldn't get out there this summer and do much of anything. It was wet. I know you live out there, so you know how much it.
Oh, yeah, it got
It
quite wet out there.
It hinders quite a bit this summer.
Yeah, it did.
Any other questions from board members?
I have a question. The comments that were just made by Mike Thompson, does he speak as a liaison, as a board member, or as a commissioner?
He's not a board member. He's the commissioner appointed to have a relationship with the IDA board, so he's basically commenting as a liaison.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments from board members? Danny, thank you for the update. We appreciate you being here.
The public has some questions about Hardee Lake Park.
Hardee Lakes is not operated or run by the IDA, and he's here for an update this morning. It's not an issue that we're going to be voting on. I'm trying to explain to you, Mr. Coolman, it's not an issue that we're going to be voting on. He's merely here for an update, so we're going to move on with our agenda. And you can certainly direct your questions to the county. Thank you.
No, I'll direct you to him in private.
Moving on to the prayer resolution.
The next item on the agenda is the prayer resolution. Mr. Evers has taken the BOCC's prayer resolution and basically trued it up so that it was directed to be a prayer resolution for the Industrial Development Authority. There are no other changes in the content of the resolution. It's just that it is coming from the person of the Industrial Development Authority rather than the person or entity of the Board of County Commissioners. And we need to approve and authorize chairman to sign as it exists, as it is presented, I'm sorry.
Do we have a motion?
Move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any comments from board members? Any public comment? All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay, PF Man update.
At this time, I have Veronica Hurst from PF Man, who is going to give you an update. Welcome, Ronnie.
Thank you very much. Okay, so for those who haven't met me yet, my position with PF Man is Chief Operations Officer. Prior to this role, I worked for Bentley Motors in the UK as their Distribution Operations Manager. So my role here is to make sure we deploy and make successful our business plan here. But I also have a global remit, so I need to make sure our engineering base is operating correctly in the UK and looking after the Middle East and China and Europe. So basically, the genset business is going very well. I've just been visiting the building yesterday and it looks great. The offices are ready. We really need to get our 3 dyno rooms built. That's really the final piece. That's for engine testing. And we've just been looking at the muffler system, the exhausting systems, and making a choice between 2 vendors for that. Our equipment will be arriving in November, so we have the emissions testing equipment already. The dyno room equipment will arrive in November, so they actually work together. So you have engine testing and emissions testing. Our CNC machines are due to arrive on 16th of November, and then we have to obviously do some setup tasks. So that's going well. The product is there. We developed some evaluation units for customers that are out in the UK. One of my jobs is to look at the bills of material because you start from a kind of a UK base of vendors, and obviously you want to be buying suppliers over here in the USA. So looking at washers and nuts and bolts and developing that out. So that's what's been going on there. Basically, we found a new fan solution over here in the USA with a fantastic new plastic property, so that helps cool the engine even better. So those are the kind of activities that are going on in the background here. Sales are truly excellent. We'll have to make some choices about who we deliver to in our first year, especially as we ramp up. They're looking fantastic from blue chip companies, and again, our plan is that we'll actually have contracts with, big players who then have their own sales forces and distribution entities and stuff like that. So it's going to be half a dozen big contracts that are really our sales and our sales strategy. I've just been over to LA. Actually, I've just come from Los Angeles. Some of you may know that the film industry is going very green. So on the sets there, they have a remit that they don't want diesel gen sets. In 4 years' time, all of that diesel stuff has to go away. So we have a very, very good opportunity over there with the film industry for propane gen sets. As you know, our gen sets can run on multiple fuel choices. So that's one of the benefits. And of course, a small, lightweight gen set is excellent to be moving around on these sets. So we did some look and sees, and we actually one of our partners provides lighting solutions as well. So we were out there doing some lighting testing on sets over there in LA. I'm here for a week. We've got a couple of things which I'll explain in a minute that we're doing, and then I'm off to Detroit for the automotive testing show, where I'll be introduced to some potential customers for our engine testing business. I don't know if you know this, but we'll be testing or able to test for small engines. And there's really only 2 other facilities in the whole of the North America that do that. One's in Texas and one's in Colorado. The guy who I'll be on his stand at the show has sold us our equipment, but also was responsible for one of those particular companies and is happy to give us some really great sales introductions. There's an 18-month waiting list for these services, so we stand a very good chance of being able to really build up some sales on that side of things. And that's really where our strategy is. We have our genset business, of course, but what we're looking to do is to develop multiple profit centers. So the CNC machine alone can generate some sales revenue for the F-Man business. Again, engine testing, those kind of things. We've also looked at doing logistics and purchasing services, and that's actually started already. So we have a customer, they are successful in the UK at supporting clinical trials. Now, most of you know the pharmaceutical companies that have any work are actually based right here in the USA. And so most of the contracts this customer has are with the USA, and they've been doing a great job for the last 3 or 4 years in the UK, but their client wants them to work in the USA, so they want to have a presence here in the USA. And basically they've asked me, because of my background with baby motors, they asked me, could I help, could I support, and we said absolutely we can. So this customer now, we're providing logistics and purchasing services right here and now. We've set up a warehouse over in Sebring, on Sebring Airport at the moment, because of Mr. Oaken's contacts over there. That made that easy. But as soon as we possibly can, we are bringing that business over into Wauchula. They will initially share our facility, and then hopefully one day they will grow and we will be able to give them their own building here. We started in August with them. They have so much business with the top 4 pharmaceutical companies now that this week, we started in August, this week we will receive 3 trucks of equipment, 129 pallets of equipment. We have 2 people working already on the project. We need to hire straight away another purchasing administration person and probably another warehousing person. But we don't want to do that in Sebring. We want to bring the business over here into Wauchula. So that's really what's going on there. So it's about the cluster effect. When you start a business and it's successful, then other businesses are drawn to the area, and I think that's what we're hoping to do right here. That's it, really.
Thank you, Veronica. Are there any questions for Veronica from the board members?
Yes, there are. Did you bring the motor?
Sorry, pardon?
Did you bring the motor?
Bring the motor.
The genset.
Oh,
No, no,
I have not brought one with me, no.
The genset is a motor generator. The Wankel engine that this is based on is the motor. And that's what's been tested according to,
You're correct. So we have an engine,
I have
and
more
we
questions.
have our genset solution, which is an engine combined with a.
Did you bring the nice
generator.
engine?
I didn't, sir.
No, even though during the last meeting, there was a point made of that. And what does it run on?
At the moment, the current engines are running on gasoline or industrial kerosene and JP8, which is jet fuel.
So I haven't even seen a picture,
Oh, haven't you? Okay.
but there hasn't been one,
Okay.
which actually shows a fuel line attached to the motor.
Oh.
Don't worry about the generator.
We can do that, no problem. We can send you videos of them running, no problem.
No, we've been after, I have been after seeing this wonderful motor to see how it fits in with Hardee County. Right now, all I heard was coming up things, Hollywood. The simplest thing to do is to bring the motor, set it down right here and show how wonderful it is. It's a Wankel engine, right?
It's the rotary engine, really.
Which is a Wankel engine invented in the 1920s by
That's right.
Dr. Wankel.
That's right.
Okay, and there have been some records set with motorcycles, and Kawasaki had, and Honda had played with it, but the viability of such an engine hasn't been proven at all.
Well, the problems with the Wankel engine, as you call it, the rotary engine, were that it ran too hot, it was too thirsty, the seals were, not reliable. But that was back in the 1970s.
No.
What we have
No,
now,
let me
what we
answer
have
you.
now is we have new materials. We have new materials, and we have the ability, just in software alone, to be able to figure out thermal flows, how materials work, designs, etc. You're right, there's a quite black art to making a rotary engine work. A tiny millimetre here on that tricore design makes all the difference, okay?
Theoretically.
No, in reality. We did 27 iterations just in our software before we even cut our first metal. But fired straight out of the box, okay? We have new materials now which make the wicking of the temperature much more efficient. New designs with our ceramic chips. We're good to go. This is an amazing product, and Wachula is going to be the heart of the business, but it's going to be a global business.
How many sales have there been? Did anybody say something?
I said awesome.
Oh yes, I heard that before. And on the Skype call.
We have purchase orders, as you know, and we're doing show and tells with our customers, but until we get our facility up and running to go to proper production, we won't be doing what we call true sales.
Well, since we're giving you a $2 million building and 3 years of, or 2.5 years of free rent, whatever it is, well, that's a heck of a gift. Aren't we the number one A1 customer in this country? Wouldn't it be, here's our product sitting right here, and this is going to be in your bio on LinkedIn, which goes from day one to your final position.
Right.
Wouldn't it be logical to bring this thing in and show the wonder of?
Oh, you're absolutely right. We should
Also, you should bring in the comparison testing to other engines that you base your results on, not just at home computer analysis and a tinkle here and a twinkle there.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's why
I'm not sure that the things that you're discussing with her specifically about the engine and the product and how it compares, and I understand your background as an engineer, this is something that you are personally very interested in.
I'd like to have a vote on who's disinterested in this.
Well, I don't think that...
In all due respect, it has nothing to do with PF Man project. That is their business.
It's got something to do with us giving $2 million business away.
We're not running their business. Everything else already been approved by the board So there's no reason to browbeat anybody.
Oh, I like that
I'm
word,
grateful they're
browbeating.
coming to Hardee County and wish them all the luck in the world. But it's already, that's a done deal. With what we've already given, it's a done deal. There's no sense browbeating them. It's no business of ours what that motor looks like. If they
Am I
turn it
browbeating
upside
you?
down and it works, it don't matter.
Let me ask Veronica, am I browbeating you?
Well, I can see both sides of the story and I see your curiosity. So what I'm going to say is that once we get the dyno rooms established,
No, you got it already
you'll be able
established.
to come and see, we'll be having our engines on there running because, you need to get good amount of hours for our customers to get the confidence in product. And you'll be able to see us engine testing other products. And, you'll be able to sit there right there with the operators, looking at the software, looking at the horsepower, outputs, all of that good stuff. So be patient with us. You're going to be able to come and see all of that stuff.
One thing I'm not patient about is putting out Hardee County money and taxpayer money on a dream. Because I want to see the sales and even who is using the engine. And the simplest thing in the world, I worked in research for government programs to develop things. The simplest thing to do is to bring that engine here and set it here before you get any money
There's
for
a
it.
process for how all that works, though. You have research and development, and then you can't say, I'm not gonna do research because I haven't had a sale. You have to get research, then you have to design the product, then you have to find a place to build it, then you have to build it, then you're gonna get a sale. That's the way it works.
I totally agree with you.
So you're asking,
But they're
you're asking
claiming
for
that
sales
they've
before
already
we
got
even-
the product.
Before they even get into the building to put their
And-
equipment in.
But they're not depending on America. They've had sales, global sales. We don't even know who their research team is, where they operate out, where their laboratories are, the present. So that'll be it for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Donald?
Will that dyno my grandson's Honda racing engine?
So sorry.
It won't?
You want, what would you
My
want?
grandson has a race car
Okay.
with a Honda racing engine.
Okay.
Will it dyno that?
It depends on the horsepower, but it's extremely likely, yes.
Probably about 42 horsepower.
Yes, it will.
Okay.
You come and bring it along for testing and...
Yeah, well, I want everybody to know I will pay you to have that done. It won't be free gratis.
we look forward to your customs, sir.
Okay.
Any other?
I have a question.
Yes.
Initially, what size gen sets are you going to be building?
The first product's going to be a 10 to 12 kVA genset. I say 10 because 10's all day long, but you advertise, this is the kind of generic advertising approach, is a 12 kVA because it will do that at peak and sun, frankly. Yeah. The reason we chose that was there's a big space in the market for that. So you can see lots of gensets going to 6 to 8 kVA all day long, Hondas, etc. But then there's a jump. And the jump tends to be that there's a gap in the market for that 10, 12 kVA, and then it kind of goes up to the 15s and 20s, and of course you're looking at something the size of a big chest freezer that can only run on diesel because it's safety factors. So this is where this space in the market exists, and that's why we chose that product.
I, for one, am happy that you're here and wish you all the success in the world.
Thank you for support, really appreciate it.
I agree.
Any other questions or comments from board members?
I would like to say this too, that Ronnie and I have been scheming to hold the December meeting at the facility. I say scheming because I'm sure that's the way it'll be interpreted sooner or later. But if all goes well, we will certainly have a meeting there. I especially, you didn't talk really in much detail about the CNC machine,
Okay.
but how about giving them a little more information on that?
Okay, well, it'll be the only one of its type in America. Basically, it's a very high-speed machine. So it's going to run at 40,000 RPM. We could have it run at 60,000 RPM, but for precision reasons, we're going to 40,000 RPM. And it will cut materials to 1,000th of a human hair. So basically, I'm a chartered buyer, okay? I have a degree with the Chartered Institute of Purchasing Supply. I've worked in automotive many, many years. And, the supply chain gets squeezed, How can we make things cheaper and quicker and all of those things? And the answer, frankly, is in these types of machines. So it's coming from Germany with Roders, but there is a Roders USA who will be supporting us. We'll actually be able to be a show and tell location for them. And you know, the types of business that we'll pull can be anything from healthcare, equipment, you know, dental implants, high precision things. But also what we'll be doing and why people will come to us is that we will allow people who perhaps provide parts for the automotive industry or, you know, helicopters or whatever, to actually go back to their end customers and say, hey, we can actually, you're squeezing us, we can actually offer you cheaper products now because of what we're going to be able to do with them, which is to turn things around quicker, but with that high precision. So the business there is huge, okay? Now, the other thing, obviously, that we want to do is we want to give back to the community. So we will have training programs on this equipment. We'll start with one CNC equipment, and then we probably will have, at the end of between 2 and 3 years, 3 of these machines, okay? And basically, we'll be doing training programs, apprenticeships on this equipment, on CAD design, drawings, the software related to all of those things, so that, you know, we're putting back into the community. But this is going to be, this site will be pulling people to come and see the CNC machine. And Roders have actually said that we can have the exclusive rights to sell this type of product in Florida and some surrounding areas. So, you know, there's synergies here. I think this is what I'm trying to explain here. We've got our genset business. I hear your concerns, but this is going to be successful. But also, we're making multiple profit centers here. And we're finding diverse ways of committing back to the community. And we're bringing business clusters here, you know? So, you know, there's a bigger picture here that's delivering
Just a simple
vision.
question. How many times have you met Victor?
Oh, Victor, I haven't met him. I've spoken to him on the phone and I've been on emails, but I haven't been to visit with Germany.
He's very pleasant.
He sounds very good.
Yes, he's very good. His parents live in Switzerland.
Okay, you know, they've been very supportive of us. And, you know, they've dropped the pricing on us as well, so we've got a good deal with them.
How much is that machine?
I think it's in the range of about 650,000, yes.
1 5-axis machine.
1 5-axis machine.
Okay.
Yes.
And you pay for that?
No, we pay for it.
No.
Oh, no, wait. Space Florida.
It's fine.
Space Florida pays for it.
I don't think that's correct. I'm not certain where you get that information.
I got it
But I
from
think
you.
you will find Space Florida is a financing entity for this equipment.
Yeah.
Well, when you say Space Florida pays
Because
for
you
it,
told me when we were at the building, when I showed you what the machine looks
they
like,
are a financing
you
entity.
didn't want to even look at it, how wonderfully that rotor machine works, making dental caps.
Okay.
At the end of the day, so we'll probably be paying for it ourselves, but we may have to have a loan or some help initially. Yeah.
You're very pleasant. I enjoyed conversing with you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from board members?
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Ronnie. We'll be
Because
moving on.
the
No,
public has just a couple of
no,
questions.
we will not
Just
be.
for informational purposes.
We will not be entertaining questions.
You're not interested? I
This
have
isn't
some
a-
great questions. I'm a supporter of
Mr.
Ron.
Coleman, I appreciate your support. I'm sure that Ronnie would welcome discussing your questions with you. We are not going to be interrupted further in the meeting. We're moving on.
Don't you want to know what about the
Mr.
project?
Coleman, if you do not remain silent, we will ask you to leave. Thank you. RFQ for agent services, Bill.
We are requesting permission from the board to do an RFQ for agent services related to insurance. Our insurance portfolio is becoming increasingly complex, and I would prefer to be able to hire someone to help us manage it. With the incubator project, we may, with the incubator project and Obamacare, not knowing exactly where it's headed, we may have to get into the healthcare insurance business. And in order to do that, I just feel I'm asking you to allow us to RFQ for agent services. It doesn't obligate us to purchase them, but when we come back with proposals, then you can take those up at that time.
What type of services?
All insurance,
Insurance?
Across the board.
across the board.
Well, Obamacare is 50 or more employees, right? We don't anticipate having 50 employees, do we?
It's not strictly 50.
Okay, I didn't know that. Wasn't aware.
Do you have health care?
Yes, Medicare. I worked 43 years for that.
You sure you worked 43 years?
I did. I showed up. That's the most important thing, showing up.
Anyway, that's my request.
What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any comments from board members? Any public comment? Mr. Coleman?
This item is the first time I saw this. I'm not sure where it came from, but it is, if I understand it correctly, you want to go out and do an RFP for agencies, an insurance agency that will represent the IDA in selecting insurance coverages for...
It's an RFQ.
RFQ. Is that what it's about?
Yes.
What's the, so who has the insurance, well, just tell me, what are the insurances right now for the IDA?
We have liability insurance and property insurance on several buildings, including this building. We have to add to that portfolio the management of insurance for the incubator project. And as I said, we will begin looking at healthcare options as it relates to the incubator.
Do you have workers' comp insurance?
We do have workers' comp, yes.
Okay. Who's the present agency that handles all that insurance?
You know, there's Christie. Albritton has workers' comp, and property and liability is all Albritton.
No, Minnesota Crop has this building.
Okay, except for this building, all insurances affiliated with the IDA businesses and staff is with the Albritton Insurance Agency, right? Correct?
More than likely, yes.
You should know that. There's not that many of them.
Henry, be careful.
Be careful.
You're about to say something ugly, I know. I hear it coming.
I'm just asking you the question. Okay, next. Is there ever an RFQ, RFP review of insurance services prior to today?
I have no idea.
I'm not sure how that is relevant to us.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how this came about.
I appreciate your line of questioning,
Well,
but you have 1 minute remaining, so
Well,
I'm asking you to wrap it
You're taking up
up.
my time.
Wrap it up.
You're taking up my time right now. So my question is, why are we doing a review of insurance services today when you're going to add one more property on the incubator building or whatever? All these other coverages are in place right now and being renewed year after year.
Well, I suppose we don't have to do that. If you'll let them vote, you can find out. They can vote no.
Okay, I know quite a bit about insurance.
Is there anything you don't know quite a bit about?
Well, I was in the industry for 9 years. I was in the industry for 9 years, and I handled national marketing on national accounts of insurance programs.
Final comment, Mr. Coleman.
Here's my final comment, it's just a statement. I would recommend for insurance services that you do not tie yourself to a particular agency. Agencies only represent certain companies that they are contracted and licensed to handle. If you would do like other counties do and retain 2 or 3 agencies that broaden the scope of the market for the policies and coverages that you need, you can get very good coverage at affordable rates and get great service. If you restrict your search to Albritton Insurance Company because of this or that, or one other insurance company, then, you know, I'd recommend not doing it.
Thank you for your comments.
Can you give me the name of some of your cronies that did the condominium association in Miami? And I'll be glad to call them.
And you and Mr. Albritton can take that offline.
Wells Fargo is the agency that handles the insurance coverages for the condominium that I was the president of.
Give me their number and I'll call them. Then we'll have someone doing our insurance that you trust. But it might be cronyism, so be careful.
I'm not on your board. You have to do the choosing and the vetting and the evaluation of who you want to work with. I mean,
thank you.
I would suggest
we're going to move on with the vote. Thank you for your comments, Mr. Coleman.
You can go national.
Okay.
Any company licensed to
Mr. Coleman,
insure and
we have
forward
heard
can
you,
do that.
sir. We have heard you, and I'd ask you to take your seat now. Thank you. So we have a motion and second. We're going to move on with a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
No.
And we will move on to our next item, floor cam.
I can laugh.
I can laugh too. Good. If anybody thinks that I can't laugh, you're wrong.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is a final negotiated set of points for which we would like, it's page 11 in your packet. There are a whole set of points that we will put into the contract related to the construction and lease of the floor can building. I provided this to you to have some discussion, debate, recommendations as you wish so that we can move forward with the contract. Some of these are fairly complex. Working them into a contract will also be complex, but that is the set of issues that are on the table today.
Okay, knowing the size of the building and looking at this amounts of money here, I don't think you can build a building that size for this money. So what's the plan for them to put so much money into it?
They will. They know that we are limited initially to $2 million from the EDA. We have currently budgeted $1.5 million from the IDA,
right,
and we are making a commitment subject to funding available of up to an additional $500,000 to cover the very issue that you have pointed out.
Okay, is that would that be a total of $3.5 million or $4 million? $4 million.
$4.
Okay, and the building is probably going to cost what, $6 or $7 million?
No,
it's just a plain building. It's not.
It doesn't have any of the specialty items.
More of a warehouse type thing, right?
Yes, there will be some customized electrical,
I would.
Conduits, etc., and some plumbing.
Yeah, but basically it's nothing like Keyplex or PF Band.
Right, and the larger you go with a building, the more open space you have, the cheaper the price per square foot.
Yeah,
it comes down. It's
okay.
Just an economy of scale.
Okay, so we're going to basically, or the EDA and us together has basically committed to $4 million.
Well, 3.5 firm. The other 500,000 is if we have to. We're obligating if we have the money.
If we got the money.
If it doesn't, we're not obligated.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Now, all I'm recommending is that if you are satisfied with this set of criteria, we will move forward with the contract and have the chairman sign it, and we will then be able to move on with the actual planning. The only urgency that I have, and it's not really a total urgency, but as we begin excavating for the retention pond and put the culvert in at the Commerce Park, I would like to not double handle earth moving. If I can move it at one time to that site, it makes a difference. But in order to not have to double handle it on the site, I have to get started on the site.
Second. So we have a motion and second to accept this draft. Any further discussion or questions from the board members? From the community? Mr. Coleman, you have 3 minutes.
Real quick, just a question. I haven't seen this. I would assume that these came out, what, as additional information on the internet maybe a day ago? Is that right? Friday, and today's Tuesday? How many pages is that document?
A little over one. If we shrink the font down, we get it on one page.
I'm trying to be polite to you, so your sarcasm.
It's a stretch, believe that.
Or you're going to get it back.
It's 2 pages.
Has everyone here had an ample opportunity to study this? Nobody asked any questions. So the first thing I would say is, I see this a lot with this board. You're showing a little something, you're getting a teaser, and then you're requested if you would allow the chairman, the economic director, the attorney to go ahead and write the contract and sign it. He just asked you that. He's asking you for permission to write the contract and sign it. Now, we've seen before on several projects, especially like LifeSync Technologies, where what was approved at this board was a far sight from what you saw in the contract. I'm recommending that you don't let them do that. You see the final contract, and then you look at it real carefully. On Florican, next question. I think you've had water pollution problems out in the Commerce Park with fertilizer-related businesses out there.
Wait, if you make a statement like that, I have no knowledge of anything related to that.
I think there was a grant award of $400,000 on a water pretreatment plant that never got done.
That's pretreatment.
Since then, and I believe that there was a gentleman here talking about how...
Are you going to continue to make allegations, or are you going to allow me to respond?
I'm going to make my statement.
There are no fertilizer-related pollution problems at the Commerce Park, Mr. Coleman. You are making a misstatement.
What I understand, because I was at the meeting, is a gentleman was in here, or it might have been a commission, talking about water pollution problems going into the sewer system that shut down the treatment plant for like 6 weeks. The EPA came in, you came in with a request for $400,000 that was used for a sheriff's substation out there. The pretreatment plant never got done. Now, and it was related to a couple of companies out there dumping stuff in the water. That's what was told. Now you have a Florican company that I thought was going to be sitting next to bio-nitrogen out there on 663 because they're partners, they're going to make urea, they're going to box it up. Now they're going to go into Commerce Park. Now I got questions about water pollution, pre-treatment plants, environmental impact studies, everything that needs to be done to consider this plant, this Florican plant that we thought was going to be out there in the industrial park, not a Commerce Park. That's simple. So when you talk about...
Mr. Coleman, your time has elapsed. Thank you. We appreciate your comments. Please take your seat.
Thank you.
And that'll be your final comment. Thank you. Bill, would you care to respond?
I'm learning. I made a vow I wouldn't argue with him.
That's because it's the truth.
We're not going to continue to have comments from the floor. Any further comments? Seeing none? All in favor?
Madam Chair, can we restate the motion just so I'm clear on what we're voting on?
The motion will be to go to contract relative to the points presented on the document on page 11 and 12 in your packet.
The contract has to be approved by the board.
The contract,
That's my question.
Yes.
Are we asking for the contract to come back before the board?
We will put this in a contract and bring it back. It also has to go to Florican's board for approval, so I just need to start that ball rolling.
Okay.
Thank you for the clarification. Any other questions?
Let me try to understand. The final product will come up to the board for...
Correct.
The final contract with these points in it.
Will be...
And if there are any changes from these points, I will point them out when it comes back.
Come back to the board.
Yes.
Everyone clear? All in favor?
Yeah, wait a minute. What I would like, when these things do come up like that, I'd like to be able to get these contracts and things at least a week ahead of time.
Well,
You know, I'm slow, and it takes me a while to digest some of this stuff.
in this circumstance, we had proffered and reproffered, and these points were agreed to 10 or 12 days ago.
I understand that, but
Then their board had to meet, and I can't, I mean, it is the private sector, we can't just mandate that they hurry up and do something. They have a very large investment decision to make relative to this facility too. And I began prodding them as early as Tuesday of last week, and I didn't finally, and actually it was by telephone call that these points were agreed to. And I said, great, I'm going to put it on the agenda. We will get approval of the board to create a contract with these points. It'll come back before their board and this board.
yeah, I'm sure that happens occasionally, but walking in here on a Tuesday and trying to digest some of this stuff is, for me, it's hard. I don't have time to go through it and read it and think about it and read it again, and, you know, I'm just not that quick. I'm not smart enough to-
We can delay month after month after month on these issues if that's your preference. If you want to set a cutoff date that says that if we don't get it to you, we just.
There needs to be a cutoff date, I think, of what we're gonna do on the agenda where we can get these packets at least 3 or 4 days ahead of time.
Well, generally,
If you have to mail them to us or bring them to us or whatever, because it's just hard for me to come here on a Tuesday morning and start reading through this stuff and really digest what's in there.
you tell me you don't want it after a certain date, we'll delay.
Well, that's just my opinion. I don't, these guys are probably quicker than me. They can probably come in here and look over it one time and they understand it totally 100%, but sometimes I don't. It's just me.
Do you not receive it on Friday when Christy sends it out?
Not everything that's in this packet, no.
Everything's, all the backup information is sent on the same day that she sends the agenda out.
Well, sometimes it may take a ream of paper to download, you know, to print all this stuff too. And I'm not sure my printer can handle that.
I think you got a valid point.
On 2 separate occasions that I've offered to print it for you prior to the meeting and come to our office and pick it up.
I think he has a valid concern. Friday to Tuesday may not be enough time. It may be Tuesday to Tuesday or Monday to Tuesday. Monday, 7 or 8 days would be very helpful to me.
I concur. It's just that when we're working with all these input entities and we do everything we're supposed to do, and then someone else has another board meeting, to get approvals, and
it's hard to get everybody.
You don't have to deal with it. You can say, my preference is to put them on the agenda, and you can say, I just don't feel comfortable voting on this. I want to delay it 30 days, and just don't vote on it. Those are always your prerogatives.
My thought is, and I agree with the points that have been made, my thought is on this because we're really looking to develop a contract, which is going to come back in front of us. I'm okay with voting on it today and then looking at it, maybe hopefully we'll get the contract sufficient notice.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, Bill, in line with his short term, I had mentioned to Bill the problem that's caused on the computer when they send out 28 meg worth of documents in one time. It screws up my computer. I pointed that out to you once before. This computer problem from Rapid says my computer just goes so far and then it says 22 megs left and all the other stuff, and then it times out and it times out and it times out. Bill is going to look into that, but I don't know if any other member here had any difficulty when 28 megabits come or megabytes come down at once.
No, I don't.
Okay, the vice chair said no, he doesn't.
We'll look into it.
Thank you very
It's a
much.
fixable problem.
Should be.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further comments? If not, we will open for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
No.
Do we have a break?
We are going to take a 10-minute break. Yes, thank you, Donald.
Thank you.